So, what's making this pandemic a tragedy is that the way it spreads, that it spreads from human to human and through respiratory fluids, through air that we breathe, and that's what makes it a pandemic of such a large scale. And scientists have confirmed that it is its novelness that is making our fight against this particular virus so hard. And let me tell you, the first guy that gets the information about the virus when it enters our body is our immune system. So, our immune system is the first one to track the pattern of the external intruders. All right. Now, as I told you that there have been coronaviruses before. Why flu is not killing us now? It's because our immune system knows about the coronavirus that creates flu, and that's why a flu or a normal cold doesn't kill us. Our immune system has all the information that it has. Our immune system has the practice. Our immune system knows the coronaviruses that have existed before, but this is a novel coronavirus, and for our immune system also, this is a novel coronavirus. And then there comes a thing called as vaccination. So whatever viruses previously we have conquered, and we definitely have. We must remember, even in these times, that humanity has never and will never yield. But for that, then we'll have to understand the rules of the game, because it looks like a game now. Viruses behind us from all the time, and we have been trying to get their information. So what we do is that when we do vaccination, we take the information inside the virus. First of all, we understand it. We take the virus and we inject it in human body, and this is how we give the immune system a practice of the virus. So we don't take the virus in its exact form. And you must remember that how this vaccination, the story of chickenpox. So how the first time vaccination was, when the vaccination was invented, it was so the same virus was put inside human body, and when as I told you, not in its deadly form, but with certain modifications. So we modify the virus and we put it inside the body, and when we put it inside the body in form of a vaccine, our immune system gets used to it. Our immune system gets enough time to understand and get all its information. And when that is done in this way, uh, uh, when the virus actually infects the body, the immune system already has the practice, it already has the knowledge, and so it fights it out. But what's happening in this novel case is that we are ourselves trying to get the information. And what makes it hard? Why there is novelness? That's the interesting thing to see here, that this is a new coronavirus. And if it is a new, and there have been new viruses that we have been seeing, there is going to be more coronaviruses in future, because they mutate. Viruses do not keep their code one or fixed, and so do we. I mean, uh, we evolved because there were mutations in the codes of certain species. And when these code changes, when there is a change in code. So if I'm there now, when there will be my son, so his DNA may be slightly different than my DNA. The order, the sequence of whatever makes DNA, four things make DNA. So generally, the sequence, the pattern in my DNA may be different from the pattern in my son's DNA. So he will have different properties, and so this is what we call mutation. So viruses also mutate. Even when there is a virus, and when there is a next virus, when a virus reproduces, that it does inside our body, when a virus creates another virus, when it replicates its code, that one code creates another code, what happens? What is? And this is not a tragedy. This is the law of nature. I told you. So whenever one code is getting replicated into another code, or getting copied into another code. Like my code goes to my son or my daughter, uh, then what happens in that case is that mutation happens, changes happens, and that's what makes things new. And viruses have been mutating, and they have been wherever they mutate, like Ebola, for example. Why Ebola was a deadly epidemic in a very local area. It had a spread in a local area, and it killed a lot of people. But why did it not become a worldwide pandemic? Why didn't have a worldwide outbreak like this novel coronavirus? Is because the methods of spread. So this novel coronavirus is deadlier than Ebola virus, because the way it spreads, or is more deadlier than HIV because of the way it spreads. And viruses get this ability the same way that we have been getting. The viruses get this ability by mutation. Whenever there is a whenever they replicate, whenever they reproduce another virus, there is a change in code. And when there is a change in code, the immune system doesn't understand it, because it was trained for the previous code, but it is not trained for the new code. So that makes it that makes it all hard. So our code itself is not not ready, or is not prepared, or is not trained enough to understand the changing code of this intruder. So mutation is something that happens in our codes, changes that happens in our code. And this is where the fight actually lies. So in fact, the code that we are made up of, and the code that a virus is made up of, they're same things. We are so there are four type of things. So our DNA is made up of those four type of things. And a virus can be actually a DNA or an RNA. We don't have to go into the technical differences, but you can understand that the code of virus is also made up of same four things. What's different is the arrangement, and how many of those four things are. So our sequence is long, and a virus's sequence is short, and it has a different sequence. We have a different sequence. So you understand, it is somewhere from the same place. We are also taking the data. Virus is also taking the data. Virus is also mutating. We are also mutating. So yes, in this way, this is analogous to an information war, a battle of data. Who gets what data? And whichever species, or whichever competing entity gets or tries to get, or is successful in getting the significant information out of the randomness, that eventually wins. That to understand this at a more fundamental level, in the next video I'll discuss that how the competition of data happens, how the battle of information happens between any two entities. And I'll explain this using the references and findings in the book of historian Dr. Harari, in his masterpiece Sapiens. He explains extremely beautifully that how data and information in data uh, uh, has actually built this society, this world. And you can also extend this idea to that this whole universe. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video.